Richards trying to scoot in there alone. It pinballs to the crease.
Let's get it.
Oh my God! Here we go.
You're listening to the Pod Street Blues Podcast with your hosts, Derek.
How you gonna get it, Bobby?
John. Matt Casey.
Unnecessary, but totally necessary.
And Hoagie.
What's not to love?
On everybody, welcome to another episode of the Pod Street Bullies. My name is Derek.
And I am John. What's going on, everybody?
And joined, as always, by the Matts. Matt Casey, let's get to you first because we got a lot to talk about with Hoagie here.
Pod Street idiot.
I'm good. Let's get to Hoagie.
All right, Hoagie. Tell us a little bit about the shirt that you're wearing there.
Well, if you don't follow me on Twitter,
Chances are you don't.
Not anymore. Lawton and Gritty came out with amazing shirts from their Macy's photo shoot, and I challenged Lawton to buy 21, and I would buy 21 and donate them, and the bastard fucking did it. So
there you go.
Wow.
Your boy did it.
Wow. So I guess we know what we're getting on our stockings this year.
Damn straight, Pod Street Bullies. Lawton and Gritty shirts for everybody.
Oh,
you know,
boy.
I'm
definitely snapping this video to post to Twitter later. So,
hey, use it to help us. I love it. Your stupidity is our gain.
Right, buddy. Maybe stop feeling so proud
we
about
even got
this.
a thank you note from Gritty and Scott Lawton.
It's like, who would have guessed nobody wanted nude pictures of B. Arthur?
You know, my uncle used to ridiculously say he thought people should pass a test before they had kids. I always thought it was a little ridiculous until now.
Yeah. You can't believe that they let you out of the hospital. But now, like, I mean, I know we talked about this off a little bit, but like, Hoagie, how did you validate this with the missus?
He didn't.
We're getting Lawton on the pod. That's all that matters. No justification.
You know he's not gonna come on, right?
What happened?
I'd love to toss it on over to him right now and be like, "Hey, Scott, how you doing?" But
he is on the ice currently.
You know,
Yeah.
I think we're
He's
gonna
on the
have to
ice.
sit down, have a
Every
talk
time we
about Santa
record.
Claus with you, and
Every time we record, they're playing a game. What do you want from me?
listen, man, I do. The only question I have for you, Hoagie, are you happy?
Absolutely. Do you see this shirt?
You have such a pit in your stomach that you are not trying to let go. The minute you hit purchase, you went, I just ruined my life.
Accurate.
I'm happy for
Accurate
you.
statements.
21
I can't
shirts.
say I
The
am, but I'm
The
happy
sick
for
and
you.
twisted thing is I'm upset for you.
Listen, money goes to Flyers charities and the SPCA. Everybody.
Wow. I hope they'll kick some back to you. Speaking of charity, jeez.
That's right off.
Get some Pod Street Bully handkerchiefs on those dogs or something like that. Make this work.
We're gonna have to get this kid a GoFundMe page because of what he just did.
For formula.
Right, formula diapers. Because don't worry.
I will accept that.
I've
I'm
got
the dumb
plenty of
one.
hand-me-downs.
Using the number 21 with Scott Lawton was not going to work in my favor. But it happened.
I've got,
It just so happens it's my
plenty of
favorite
hand-me-downs,
number
man.
Yeah.
If you need clothes, we have
Cameron's got
plenty of them. So
shirts
just let us
for
know.
days.
He's gonna be swaddling these kid in these JC Penney shirts.
Is it JC?
Honey, we don't have any burp cloths, but I got a t-shirt. 18 left.
You're still good.
Oh. All right. Well, I really don't know how to segue into what
Do
we're going
we
to talk
fire
about.
him after this? I mean, this has been probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Here's how I look at this. As any corporation, like I'm going to refer to us as a goddamn corporation. Any business,
This
any
LLC.
business to do this.
We
What
should check
Hoagie
with
does
HR
on his
on
own
that one.
time. Yeah, HR. Okay. Whatever you do on your own spare time, man, that's between you and whoever. I don't care.
You were all for it when Lawton replied,
But-
Barry. That's all
But
that matters.
you didn't let me finish. You're fired.
See, boys, no.
Speaking of fired, who's getting fired off the team this week?
Oh, this roster is
right?
this roster
Well,
is perfect for
Segui.
Matt
for
Casey
his-
with the segue I was looking
Look at
for.
that, getting us back on track.
So we got three
Need
main
t-shirt.
people that we want to talk about. I'm sure whoever's listening right now is going to be able to guess that. Let's lead with someone I personally think probably will. And let's go with Jet Luchanko. Let's do a round table here, gentlemen. I think Jet Luchanko doesn't make it past the next round of cuts. Does anybody here agree or disagree?
How many more rounds of cuts do you think they have?
I don't know.
I
have no clue.
I think they'll do one after tonight or
Right.
one tomorrow, and then there's going to be like one more because like there's 2 preseason games left after this, right? And then they go
Right.
into like
Right.
hunker down. So like they want to
There's one
give
tonight and I think Thursday.
Yeah,
So then
tomorrow night.
then thinking that the last 2 will be more of like the NHL roster,
Mhm.
I'm willing to say that this is probably his last game. I mean, I think he's done awesome and I'm excited about him, but it doesn't make any sense to make him a part of this team right now.
No, I said this last week too. It's if this was a team full of veterans and stuff, and you got one third line spot open, okay, maybe give the kid the 9 games. But right now we have so many people under 25, probably even under 22. I don't have the roster in front of me here, but you know, we're looking at Bobby Brink as this if he's a shoo-in right now. Like it, I hope he is.
Right.
But I hope he plays his way into that. But like, yeah, there's only oh boy. We got to read this out loud here. Kristen Hoagland, who is AKA soon to be former Mrs. Hoagland, says, besides the t-shirts, can you all please ask Matt to take down that flag in our den? I plan on decorating.
With t-shirts.
We're on your side here, Kristen.
If you stop banging pots
I'll put,
in the background.
I'll put all the t-shirts around.
So anyway,
around the
I feel I'm with you, man. I feel like the kid's done a great job, but he just turned 18. There's a huge difference from a physicality standpoint from when you're 18 and 3 days old versus 20 years old. So I think the kid just needs some seasoning. I think he got some great experience, but I don't think it's going to help him or us in the long term to keep him sticking around for this year. He'll be back though.
I agree. I think he played really well, and he was on the precipice, I feel like, of knocking down that door to where it was just undeniable. Like he had to be a part of the team. And I'm still not completely against the 9-game tryout, but I'm leery about why that would be necessary, given the fact that if he's not going to make the team ultimately, like what's the point? I look at it from like 2 separate viewpoints here. A, he takes the Cam York approach. After he gets sent down after however many games, he comes back next year and he's just blowing the doors off the place. Or B, he takes the Andre approach, who got sent down last year after a handful of games, took a while to kind of get his footing in the AHL and had kind of a down year. So I would much rather him just get sent down right from the get-go, go dominate in Guelph, do his thing, have some fun, score points. Yeah. I'd rather him do that, honestly. Like he has the one game, the last game was kind of so-so. He was decent, right, but wasn't what he had been, I guess is the best way to put it. So like I'm cool with him going back down, dominate juniors, do your thing, come back next year just like he did this year. And I think honestly, if he's back next year, there's absolutely a spot on this team for him.
Yeah, well, and I also, you mentioned York and Andre, but it's different. I think there were expectations for them to make the team. There is 0 expectations for this guy to make the team this year.
I mean, also, York
it's not an
is
apples to apples
a different scenario because he was sent to the AHL to prove himself. Jet doesn't have that opportunity. He's getting sent to juniors no matter what. So like I think he'd be okay with a 9-game stint. I mean, call me crazy, but I mean, we have that West Coast trip to start We already know it.
Don't. I got plenty of words.
But
in the same
we're starting the
vicinity
season-
is crazy.
Yeah, right. We're starting the season on the West Coast trip. We already know that Michkov's not going to be playing all the games right out of the bat. So I feel like they're going to do like who was it, Brink Enforcer that they did it with last year, the year before, where they just kind of put one in, pull one out.
Mhm.
I could see them doing that with Luchanko and Michkov. Just give Luchanko this like an actual NHL, game speed.
But here's the thing, though, man. If he were to play the 9 games, I want 9 consecutive games. I don't want any of this like he's all of a sudden here until mid-November because he hasn't played his 9 games. Like I want him developing in Guelph.
Yeah,
he's not going to play.
Sit him a game, play him a game.
Here's my thing with the 9 game stuff, and you make the assumption that it's going to be the first 9 games out of there, or very close to. I think realistically, this team came out of the gate swinging so hard last year at the beginning, and I don't think we have an opportunity to do that. And like we don't have the luxury to pull in an untested teenager at the moment. We already have untested 20-year-olds,
Right.
And so I just feel like
this
this team has too much on the line already to test out something purely unproven at the beginning of the season.
Right.
If we come out to a 1-5-1 record to start, like we're toast. We can't make that up.
So here's the scenario. What if someone goes down bad preseason, hurt, long-term injury, out till January latest, whatever? Does he push the envelope?
I still don't think he's there. I still don't think he's the right call up for it.
I don't think so either. I'm just throwing things out there. But I mean, his game the other night, like he looked dog tired by the third period.
Right.
I don't think he has a full 82 game season in him.
No.
But like that's a lot to put on an 18-year-old, 18 and a month year old, whatever he is. Like it would be tough, and I can't see Tortorella and Briere making that call for someone so young who has so much upside.
And I mean, and listen, like Derek's kind of said it before, at least I think it was Derek. I mean, if he was not kicking down the door and scoring, 2 goals a night, it'd be a different story, but he's not doing that. He's playing well enough where it's like there are other
to make an appearance.
Right. And there are other players in the AHL that like deserve the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Shamu, we'll talk about Lexell, right?
Nobody's talking about Shamu these days.
Yeah.
I haven't heard his name.
Isn't he hurt?
I don't know.
Is that why?
I don't know.
I feel like I haven't seen him in any.
I think did you bring up a
action.
good point with Lexell? Like I think the last game against Boston, like he played really well. And I mean, it's a far cry from the last Boston game with Lake Tahoe, where everybody's like, "Oh shit, this guy's in the lineup."
Yeah, well, that was the NHL that.
I know.
screwed us on that one.
Everybody had COVID, and they couldn't postpone it because it was a national game. All that
Also,
crap.
final rosters have to be in October 7th, so next week.
October 7th. Okay, so it'll be around this time next week. We'll know the roster
We'll
by
know
the show
the
that we do
opening
next
night
week.
roster. Yep.
Yeah. So I would 100% expect Luchanko to be part of his junior team by then. Lexell, though, I mean, Lexell wing, correct? He's not a center.
Right.
So I believe so. So like the implications with that, and I'm looking at more so the dynamic because again, with Luchanko being a center, what you're left with at center are Coots, Frost, Paling, and then you could put Cates and Lawton at center. However, the team is looking more so to put them at wing, which makes sense. What do you do then? Because I mean, ideally, you'd probably want Paling. Like I said it, I think last week, I like him at 3C, but ideally, you'd want him on the fourth line, centering Hathaway and Laurier. What do you do at 3C at that point? I mean, are you looking to maybe convert Farabee again, like you did, I believe, 2 seasons ago? I don't think that's a good idea.
I mean, at this point, I think they're just hoping he's going to be somewhat serviceable.
Who?
Yeah,
Farabee?
Honestly, Farabee has looked pretty good.
That guy has fallen off a cliff in my
I think
head.
I think he looks strong on his skates. I think his vision's back. I think having a full off season where he wasn't
His vision's back. What did he do? He lost it.
Yeah, he went blind for the summer. You didn't know that?
Oh, all right.
You didn't know?
Yeah,
I missed
He
that
didn't
tidbit of news.
I think Farabee, I feel like he's gotten just lost. I feel like he's kind of the forgotten man right now. And I hope
we didn't talk about him at all in the last show.
Yeah.
Right.
I
think we even forgot him when we were listing out wingers.
He's just kind of there. And I feel the same way about Brink too. And maybe it's just that third line mentality right now where it's like, okay, everyone's so focused on Michkov and Konechny, and rightly so.
Right.
But
Forster. Yep.
yeah, but those two guys in particular, and I'd throw Lawton in there too, but like I still don't mind that as a third line, those three. And to answer your question, Derek, like Lawton's got to fit in there somewhere, and that's your 3C. It's either he or Paling at that point,
right?
Unless you bench Delorier, which is going to happen, in which case you have some other stuff to do. But like, yeah, Kate's you got to find a place for. So I still think there's enough of a logjam in that bottom six that if Lexell makes it, and I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. I don't like the guy. I don't not like the guy. I need to see more. It does prove that at least he earned a position versus being like, okay, we happen to have an opening.
Right.
There's enough competition there that he's really got to take it.
And I'm all for him beating out a guy like Delorier. Like Delorier is not a part of the future, but I don't see him going any further than the fourth line, right?
Right.
Right. I think too, I'm just looking at the way it's breaking down. I mean, you've got Denver Barkey still on the roster. Obviously, Bobby Brink's still up. But, I mean, names like Rodrigo Abels, Oscar Eklund,
the other guy, Menudo.
Yeah, those are the guys that are going right back down to Lehigh Valley.
Yeah, did you just list the cut group for tomorrow morning? Or
pretty much. Like, Gumala's still up. I mean, even Brink. Or not Brink, Bonk. I mean, I'm looking at NHL.com, and technically Ryan Ellis is on the damn roster. Like,
ooh.
Can he play goal?
This could be his year.
Maybe. But I don't know.
If you guys had to make a bet, all right. So I'm not even saying opening night roster, but like, hey, staying up with the big club. Do you think Ale stays up or not?
I don't see where he fits. Like, I just don't think there's enough room.
Yeah,
I agree. There probably isn't, but I think he makes a case for himself.
I think he's number one call up for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is not a bad place to be.
I mean, is he at a point?
Correct? Because he cut out a little bit.
Is he at a point in his career where he would be more of a benefit to keep him up in the NHL, but just not dress him every night?
He might be. Is he? He's not on a two. Is he on a 2-way contract, or does he have to clear through waivers?
I don't think so.
I don't know that. I mean,
I think for some reason he does.
He's 25. Oh yeah,
probably. At this point, really, he probably is what he's going to be. I don't think there's much more development to be had.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm not opposed to it. I think. Well, I know injuries are going to happen, and he'll get into games. People are going to want to rest. Maybe they want a more skilled lineup. So Delorier's out, Lexell's in. I'm not opposed to it. I think he's going to bring more to the table than a Delorier. However, how much more? Because you're talking apples to oranges here, skill to grit. I don't know.
Well, who needs Delorier when you got brand new Coots fighting people?
That was something. That was
and the hit afterwards or later on in the game.
Let's keep going with that because I feel like just something that small and minor
goes a long way.
Yeah, the chemistry on this team, and not to mention the game-winning goal by Michkov. You saw the celebration and how those guys essentially mugged him. This locker room, we talked about how tight it was last year, but now you're starting to see it really, compound and really gel together. It's like I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just weird, but there's something brewing here for me.
No, I think that Coots fight was a statement to the NHL. Don't fuck with our 19-year-old.
You stop with that.
All-star. Oh, Jesus. Sorry.
He's a teacher, for Christ's sake.
Oh,
I already gonna have to explain to him that that let morons on the show. Now
do they want t-shirts?
Profane morons. Yeah, I can give one to my whole class essentially.
No, I think it was one. It was a really good game. I know Hoagie and I think we're the only ones. We actually watched the thing live. I don't know if Derek and John. I don't know if you guys did, but yeah, that's my kids were watching. That animated movie with the feelings.
Inside Out. Too.
Inside Out.
Inside
I know
Out.
what you're talking about,
They're
yeah.
watching that one. I'm like,
that.
yeah, I'm gonna hop on the phone and watch the Flyers here.
There was hockey in that movie, though.
That's true. It is a hockey movie, and so in watching it was a good game. And the Flyers were a little flat until that point, and then Coots drops the gloves, and I think it's like, it's just kind of galvanized. It's like, hey man, you're one of us. Like you're not an outsider. You're one of us, and like we're in this together. And then I think on top of that, 20 seconds later, my boy Risto just cranked one through. So
I knew you would get all bricked up for that one.
I'm telling you, Risto's gonna have the bounce back year of the century here. Or it's gonna be good.
Just in time to send him to a playoff team at the deadline, baby.
As we're starting our decline.
Playoff Risto.
we all need playoff Risto.
Like
it's a myth.
I look at it like this way. Like it's one thing if a Nick Delorier, a Garnet Hathaway do what Couturier did. Everybody expects that because those are the tough guys. They're the ones that, if someone's going to fight somebody, those are the guys. For your captain, who it's a once in a blue moon, he'll drop the gloves. For him to do that is huge. Like that is like, I think it was Hoagie that said it. Like, you're one of us. Like I'm your captain. This is what I'm going to do to make sure that this stuff doesn't fly here around here. And sorry, John, almost let another one fly.
That's all right.
Yeah, I think
on it anyways.
I think anyone on that team would have done it, with the exception of maybe like Bobby Brake. Like Frank would have been like, and like he skated away. But, like,
you know what I think is huge?
This is under control.
It happened in the moment. We didn't have to wait for a shift or something like that. It happened right there and then, which just proves to Michkov, like Derek said, like we all said, like, he's one of us, and we're not putting up with the crap. I said it earlier. I think it's a statement to the NHL. Don't screw with Michkov.
Do you think afterwards Coots gave him a hug and called him comrade?
Probably.
The scene in the Will Ferrell figure skating movie where the two male figure skaters where like they like miss the first like throw, and he's like, "Come on, take my hand." Like that's what Coots was basically doing to Michkov. We got this.
Oh.
It was a good moment, and I liked it. And then on top of that, Michkov had a good night. That good to have another goal TK that can pot an overtime goal.
They were dangling him up there for so long. They wanted him to have that goal.
I know what you mean, but it just sounds really funny. They were dangling him. All right.
Sorry, where were we? Back to the players.
Dangle.
Oh, that's the one that gets you in trouble, Joe.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, but like when it comes to Michkov, puck on his tape with that last shot, the game-winning goal, was there ever, like, compare it to Drew, Voracek, guys of the past, Simmons even. How confident are you now in that puck is going in the net versus how confident you were when one of those guys had it on the stick? It's like our conversation with like Neuwirth. Like, you knew the puck was probably going to go in on a high danger chance, whereas you had that level of security with he who shall not be named at this point.
Case number 4226.
I mean, maybe
made a 267.
I mean, listen, I might be giving the unpopular answer here, but until he starts doing the regular season, I'm not going to be that confident yet. But listen, man. I mean, it's all well and good that he's doing a preseason game, and I'm excited for what potentially lies ahead. Absolutely. I mean, look at this. Like, I can't remember the last time. It was probably Lindros that we had a player who didn't like become a star, right? He's
They-
already
they
the star,
are a
and now we
star.
need it, and we need him to kind of live up to it. It's exciting.
You think it's fair? You
What?
think it's fair to compare him to Lindros?
I'm
Like, the
not
comparisons
comparing
you're
him to.
seeing?
I'm not comparing him to Lindros. I'm just saying that I think he's the first like star before he proved it.
Sure.
I
I know
would-
exactly where you're coming from because that's the comparison people are drawing. It's like
Mhm.
star level in terms of before even touching the
Right.
ice on a regular season game. Like I see that. It's the people that are like, he's our next Lindros. It's like, shut your mouth. First and foremost.
I think you have to keep in mind, like the Lindros thing had so many more. I mean, this had a lot of layers to it as well. But the Lindros thing, like he basically Cutter Gautier'd the Nordiques. Like he was like, I refused, and you guys are probably too young to remember this. The Nordiques for years would have pacifiers. Anytime Lindros would play them, the entire crowd would bring pacifiers.
Ristolainen just scored again.
Oh my god, that was dirty too.
It's a
On the power play.
Norris campaign, and you know it.
On the power
Norris
play.
campaign.
I love it.
Get on board, baby.
And so
Risk that
I'm
train's
gonna
leaving
put
the
it this
station.
way. On the flip side, you had Giroux, who there was a lot of excitement there, and I remember when Giroux got in at the end of a season and they put him in on a shootout. He didn't end up scoring, but like there was excitement building. But that was also like the Pronger years and the Richards years and stuff. So there were other stars there, and not to the level. So I think we're somewhere between. It's not a Lindros level because that was mayhem. That was like craziness on a lot of different levels, and he was a totally different kind of player that is a rarity in the NHL. And Michkov is great. So I think it's somewhere between a Giroux and a Lindros kind of scale right there. Like I think he's bigger than Giroux was coming out at this phase, but he's not at Lindros, 38 level.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, I only bring it up because I see the people that are like, he's the next Lindros. It's like, dude, enough. Like you see all that talk. Like, the next
his own thing.
Yeah. It's like let him be the first Michkov, that'd be kind of cool.
Right.
But at the same time, we need to recognize that at least it's fun that we have someone to do that with now.
Yeah, it's something fun to talk about for once.
Right.
Yeah.
And you
like, hey man, he's got a great skill set.
You look at our other top, the highest draft pick in Little Putz boy Nolan Patrick. And like even when like he wasn't hated and he came on, it was just like this guy, like he didn't have it. He didn't have like the confidence, the swagger, like anything like that. Like you can tell if this guy lives up to it, like he's going to be ripping around Philly and having a good grand old time once he's 21.
Patrick never had the mindset. He was way too it seemed laid back, disinterested, almost disassociated, if you will.
It was the migraines.
Never talk to anybody either. Carchidi interviews him and he gets like 2-word responses. It's like, man, come on, like a little bit here.
But that's
and
just,
Michkov is saying more, and he doesn't even speak English.
Right,
that's true.
Right. I mean, we've even talked to Martinez, and he said Patrick was just a boring interviewer, no matter what.
He said he was
he
a
just
terrible,
didn't. He just doesn't have emotion.
Some people are like
for those
that.
types. Yeah,
Some people like boring interviews. I think some people like that.
The greatest interviews either. Giroux was never the greatest interview either. Like he was somewhat entertaining, but like it wasn't ever.
Is a terrible interview.
Yeah.
Tell you the worst interview I've seen besides Patrick. Mike Richards was a horrible interview. Horrible.
Oh yeah.
Like he hated doing it. He hated it.
Wasn't Martinez telling us about that on the episode he was on a couple months back?
He might.
Richie was just a terrible interview.
But I remember he would come on after games and they'd be like, okay, so what do you think about this? He's like, you guys are asking the same questions every time. It's like, meanwhile, now we know he just need to get out and get a fix.
get a line or somebody's wife.
Or both.
Yeah, right.
It was a weekend.
At the same time.
Easy.
All right, so
easy, buddy.
We've been through Luchanko, we've been through Lixell, we've been through Michkov. Let's get to the somber side of things here, or just really the weird.
So I was going to say, did someone die?
Yeah, right?
Dikembe Mutombo did.
Mutombo died. Pete Rose died.
Pete Rose passed away too. This is a terrible day for sports fans. Yeah.
Oh, I missed that one.
It just happened like an hour.
Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter died a couple days ago.
That one trumps all.
You know who I bet? I bet it's Hoagie right after the podcast.
Oh my God.
takes the pots and pans to his head.
She strangles him with 21 Scott Lawton t-shirts.
Just gonna see him hanging over the ledge of the balcony.
Well, at least the material's good, you asshole.
I'll put my gritty mask on too.
Cold asphyxiation. Let's talk about Kolosov here quick.
Oh boy.
We didn't talk a ton about it just because it's like we don't know much until
Because he
we know it,
left.
and I don't even know what to say. Like I'm lost with this guy because he was here, then he wasn't here, now he's here again. There's rumors about him just coming over to cancel the contract. I have no idea.
And now he's saying he
here.
loves Philadelphia and can't wait.
Yeah, I love Philadelphia. You know? Like, good, because you're going to be in Lehigh. Have fun in Allentown.
I find a good pierogi place.
There's a
that
large
Polish?
Polish population there.
Good bogey
I don't
place.
There is a large Polish population up in the Allentown area. I can tell you that.
But he's Belarusian.
Well, we're talking pierogies here.
I know. What's a
I
good
don't know.
Belarusian food? Does anybody know?
I got a feeling it's sauerkraut in some way, shape, or form. It's sauerkraut based. God, so when I was at F&M and Derek's, no offense, because I know this is your area too, but like the ladies working the grill be like, "Hey, hon, you want pierogi?" And you're like, "Oh God,
Like, hey, pierogi. Pierogi. Hey, bro, you want a pierogi? Oh my God. The accent was great.
Hold on. So brief me up, because like I looked on Twitter at some point and it was like, oh, there's Kolosov on the ice, and it was like
The next day.
what didn't Danny talk to the media today? What did he say? I actually had a job and did work.
So I don't know what he
too
said.
Busy going through my 21 t-shirts.
I know that there's been, and it's just that, it's rumors that there's some sort of handshake agreement in place where if he doesn't see time by this date, whatever it might be, arbitrary date, I don't know, that they might just look to say, hey, you know what, you go back, we'll put you back on loan, go back over to the KHL. Again, rumors, don't know if that's true. I'm not against something like that. I mean, if Fedotov plays well, if Urson plays well, somebody distances themselves from the pack and they're the clear-cut starter, cool. Roll with that guy. Kolosov doesn't get his chance this year. That sucks. Have fun back in the KHL. But I want to see him play. Like I want to see him get a shot. Like if he's posting up like a 920, like 930 save percentage with Lehigh Valley, yeah, bring him up. Let him play.
Yeah.
But if he's posting pedestrian numbers where it's like a 900 or sub 900 type save percentage, like, all right, dude, like you're nothing special. I get it. This is your technically second stint, but it's first full season. Like, go back over to the KHL if you think you're gonna do better there. Like, I'm not playing games with that guy anymore. I'd be like, nah, dude, do whatever the hell you want. I don't care.
Can I sidebar for a quick second?
We got Cal Peterson. We don't need you.
So I was looking at Belarusian food, and I mean, I'm not incredibly impressed, but there is a drink, and it's called a crambambula.
Crambambula.
Crambambula. Yeah, it's an alcoholic drink with honey and spices, but I just like the name. So if we could find a way to get Crambambula sponsoring the Pond Street Bullies, I'd be very, very happy.
Eric, I bet you could, or John, I bet you can make a Crambambula with your cappuccino bar you have behind you.
You like that?
That dude.
There you go.
You have like
They sell that in the
spritzers?
cake store?
It's a coffee machine. And then
No,
my
but
wife
this-
likes flavors. Yeah. There's
God, dude.
there's
You tip your
caramel.
Mine
barista in
does
the
too.
morning?
It's called creamer.
It's not mine.
So anyway, Kolosov, it's a good situation for him if he can just get out of his own way. Hey, I stopped it. If he just gets out of his own way, because as we all saw last year, even a great goalie, stuff happens.
Disappears, man.
There's not a guarantee that the two goalies that you have at the start of camp are going to be the two goalies that you have at game 82. And so if he's proved himself and can be the first call up, great. I think it's a whole other thing of like, dude, you got to mend a couple fences here because, you got to have a team that wants to fight for you, like Sean Couturier did with Michkov. But like, if this guy's putzing around, it's the equivalent of Cutter coming back. I'm like, yeah, I actually want to be back in Philly. No way.
Right. He requests a trade back to Philadelphia.
So he's playing right now in the third period. He actually looks pretty good. He looks better than Fedotov did tonight. So.
And that's the thing. Fedotov didn't like do it. I mean, he was fine. Like Urson, it's tough to like mess with his game if he pitches a shutout. But like, let's see how it goes. And also, like, Fedotov, we're banking on him because he's like a big Russian. He's like, rah, what a story. But like, he didn't show us much last year, and we want to believe, and I hope he does do great. But I have no problem with the two Russians duking, or Belarusian and Russian, duking it out.
I mean, listen, I wouldn't be shocked if Kolosov is the backup goalie by the end of October. I have zero faith in Fedotov.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I really wish his name was Fedotov. It sounds so much better than Fedotov.
I hate Fedotov.
I know. It's Fedotov. I'll never get over that.
I'll bet you a can of Cram Bam Boom that Fedotov is still in there at the end of October.
It's Cram Bambula, I think.
You guys ever hear of Boilo?
No.
It's like a Schuylkill County type thing. Like it's wicked stuff. Like, but that's what it reminds me of. Like, they make it themselves, and I'm like,
in their Belarusian basement,
the Skooks moonshine. But I want to I want to see him play in the NHL, but not at anybody else's expense. This dude's done nothing to warrant any type of favorable gifts or treatment from anybody in this front office or on this team. So earn it, because you've spurned this team now. This would have been the second year in a row. You got loaned last year. You were looking to get loaned this year, and then, we had a change of heart. I don't know what that was. It's probably his agent being like, hey, you're an idiot. Like, you just spurned this team twice and you're under contract. Like,
I'm going to start calling you Hoagie.
But
some idiot give the guy from some Flyers podcast.
We all know it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Someone's going down with an injury, and he'll get a shot. And I hope he runs with it. I hope he does well. Make it a 3-goalie competition to see who's going to be the best. And if it's Kolosov, awesome. If it's Urson, even better. It's Fedotov. I don't care who it is. Just someone take the net.
Someone take it and stop the puck.
Take it. Gotta grab it and hump it into submission. No one gets the dodgeball reference.
Oh my gosh.
That's what that was.
Guys.
You're talking about
first the landlord reference, and now this.
Talking about dangle.
We're really bad. We're bad at this.
Yeah, we're rusty. This is preseason. We're shaking the rust.
This ain't rusty. This is mid-season
this is the
form.
Bullies.
All right.
God, this
so
is why no one's watching.
we've been through the 3 main points that we wanted to get through here. Anybody have anything to add before we put a bow on this thing?
No.
Preseason play has been pretty impressive, honestly. I know it's preseason, but
I do too. I wish the preseason was like 3 games and that was it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just some tune-ups and that's
Get it done, and go do a ropes course for like 2 weeks and like come back like ready to go.
So just go through Twitterella's.
Is it like it's like a whole week or something before they play? Right
Just
after.
about, yeah.
They don't start till the 14th, maybe. So like they have a full week of like. Yeah, dude.
It's the 11th, I think. It's
11th?
a Friday night.
Yeah, they start a Friday. They don't play at home for like another couple weeks.
2 months.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they start in 11 days or something stupid like that.
But it still is a pretty decent gap, right? Between the last preseason game and the first regular
It's like
season
8 days.
Yeah,
It's a Thursday this week and then Friday night next week. Yeah.
Go on a bender on Vancouver.
Oh,
Yay,
God,
West Coast games right off the bat.
Really bothering me that the season doesn't really start until like 3-4 games in.
Right.
Gotta take a little bit of a nap and then wake up at 10 o'clock ready to root on your boys.
Yeah. There's pretty close to 0% chance of that happening.
Well,
I'm
Maybe,
gonna
maybe on a Friday night I'll do it. Like,
well,
maybe.
I'll go. This is what I'll do. I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna stay up and I'm gonna watch this game. It'll be like 10 after 10, and I'll be like, well, all right, I got enough.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sleep on the couch.
I know that feeling.
All right. So let's move ahead and put a bow on this one. 40 minutes in. Again, shaking the rust off here. Casey, where are they going to be able to find you?
You can't find me. I'm nowhere. No,
All right then.
I'm the only one who likes Hoagie's tweets, so that's all I know.
Accurate.
Street Casey on the Twitter.
Oh, thumbs up
the-
for Hoagie again on the thing.
Hey, there it is.
God, why is it always me?
Hoagie, you're up.
Always me. Pod Street Hose, and you can find your t-shirts. And Pod Street Boys and Pod Street Hose. Yeah, I think we're gonna start doing giveaways.
Dude, giveaways would be good.
Yeah,
Right.
get the listeners going. Maybe once we start the Twitter live thing next week.
I like it.
I'm just
before
so
the first game of the
disgusted
season
with you.
giveaway.
I mean, I feel like my own kid has disappointed me. That's really,
I feel
Now I'm
honored.
gonna, no, you know what? My kids are gonna do something stupid. I'm gonna go, hey, it's not as bad as the time the moron Hoagie bought 21 freaking t-shirts.
You're gonna look at your kids and go, "Don't pull a Hoagie."
On their worst day, they wouldn't.
Oh man!
John,
All right,
John, we're keeping on the
we'll
podcast.
continue this off the show, but let's wrap this up here. John,
Okay,
do your
what?
spiel.
You can find this podcast on all your various podcast listening receptacles, including but not limited to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Spreaker, Stitcher, Snatcher, YouTube, and etc.
All right then. Perfect. Check us out on X, Pod ST Bullies. Check out our affiliates, also High and Wide, Time My Skates, Phileas Flyer, and the fine gentleman over at the 5 Minute Major podcast as well. Until then, until next week, we'll have a preseason episode, pre-regular season episode ready to go, a primer, and we'll see you then, folks.
Bye now.
Let's go, Flyers.